Okay. Thank you very much for being here in this sixth design fair of CDTM Valencia. Thank you very much, of course, to the City Council of Valencia, to Generalitat Valenciana, and to both universities, UB and UPB, from which we've got our professors here as well, part of the advisory board, Salvador, Coll, and Pedro, Carrasco. They will speak as well. And thank you everyone for being here despite the heat wave. But don't worry, because the presentations today will leave you frozen in astonishment. So thank you very much. I'm going to do a super quick introduction to CDTM and MPD for those who either don't know CDTM much or don't know MPD yet. This is me, that you know, I'm part of the management team, of course. And in case someone's not from CDTM side, see some new faces. CDTM stands for Center for Digital Technology Management. As some of you know, our purpose is to connect, educate, and empower the innovators of tomorrow. And that's basically you. Okay? Sometimes we might call you students. You are students in the program. But you're also doing, some of you have startups, you have jobs, you have all your master's degrees or degrees, you're doing a lot of things at the same time. And I think the name that you really deserve is the innovators of tomorrow, the young being students. Because normal students don't achieve what you achieve here, and it will show. Okay. Basically, we've got a multidisciplinary group of people in CDTM. We center assistants or part of the management team are multidisciplinary, but the students or the innovators of tomorrow are also multidisciplinary. And you go through the whole technology management cycle, the whole innovation cycle, and we are right at the middle in managing product development. So what you will see today is quite tangible. It is digital. You may not touch it, but you will see it. You will interact with it. You will have the prototype show later in the catering outside. And I think it's pretty beautiful because it really conveys in a tangible way the solutions and all the process of 3 months, right? And then, of course, I hope that when you finish it and you feel empowered to go wherever you want to go, but keep being the innovators of tomorrow. CDTM started in Munich 30 years ago already, and at some point in 2023, this the seed of CDTM Valencia was planted here. This is truly a crazy thing to do. Sometimes the professors know, the management team knows, but I think the students and alumni also at some point get to understand how crazy it is that something like this exists here. We really have to invent. There's no given formula. We even have to invent legal frames sometimes, economical frames. We have to invent everything for this to be a new reality and adapted to the Valencian context. And now we will have, as I said, this is supported by the 2 universities, the 2 big public universities of the territory. And we will have first Salvador going from the Polytechnical University of Valencia. Please, Salvador. Thank you.
What I have prepared is one, I prepared some institutional words. We have distributed the roles, Pedro and me. Some more institutional, some more informal. Then institutionally, it's a real pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Universitat de Valencia and to welcome you all to the CDTM Design Fair. When we met at the kickoff in January, I told you that you should feel proud. You have earned a place in a very competitive program, and you have been given an exceptional opportunity. I also ask you to take it seriously, to get involved, to support your teams, and to make every week count. Today is a good moment to look back and see what you have done with that opportunity. The design fair is an important milestone, but it is not an isolated event. It is part of a carefully designed learning journey. During the 10th seminar, prior to this block of MPD, you learn to explore technological and social trends, build possible future scenarios, and identify meaningful opportunities. But perhaps more importantly, you learned how to approach uncertainty, how to conduct research, combine different perspectives, question assumptions, and turn insight into ideas. That previous stage gave you the tools to address MPD, and in MPD the question changed. It was no longer only what might the future look like, but what can we do today in response to it. Over these months we have gathered to understand real problems and real users, define a value proposition, design a solution, build a prototype, test your assumptions, and improve your ideas. The prototypes we will see today are the results, the visible results. But behind them lie many less visible achievements, difficult decisions, discarded ideas, disagreements resolved, feedback accepted, and teams learning how to move forward together. That is what makes CDTM different. It is not theory for the sake of theory. It is learning by doing, combining technology, business, and real execution. In January, I also reminded you that Valencia is the first CDTM hub outside Munich, and that you are helping to shape what CDTM Valencia will become. That remains true. You are not simply participating in the program. Through your attitude and your work, you are helping to set the standards. And being part of such a selective and distinctive program is not only a privilege, it also carries responsibility. We have been given access to talented colleagues, interdisciplinary teams, specialized mentoring, real challenges, and direct contact with project partners. You should value this opportunity. But you should also understand that when we ask you about the opportunities of the real world, you have to use what you learn responsibly to address relevant problems and to create solutions that provide genuine value to people and to society. Finally, I would like to thank the project partners for placing their trust in the students and supporting them with their experience and feedback. I would also like to thank Pedro, Alicia, and the entire team at CDTM Management for guiding the learners through such a demanding process. And of course, I want to recognize the collaboration between the Universitat Valencia and UPV, together with support of the Valencia City Council and the Generalitat Valencia. This program shows what can happen when an entire ecosystem backs talent and ambition. To all three teams that present the proposals today, be proud not only of what you present today, but also of the journey that brought you here. In January, I ended with 3 words: make it count. Today, I can say that you have. But this is not the end of the journey, so keep making it count. Congratulations and enjoy the design fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Salva. And now we will have the words of Pedro. Welcome.
A few words because Salva did the job. I like that he talked before. Well, for me it's amazing to see you all these young people almost out of the system because not many people has the skills you are showing today. Many people has this kind of culture they want to develop. And I think people like you and the work that is developing the management team makes CDTM almost unique. For me, it's very important that I consider that life at CDTM is defined by the radical collaboration. Collaboration is a very important question that you don't find very often. I think for each radical collaboration you have to develop. I can see people, I know there's people who are from very different fields of knowledge. There's people from, I know software engineers, business students, designers, at some point even psychologists, something like that. And I am like pure science. For me, it's amazing to see all these people collaborating. And I think it's one of the main points of CDTM that we have to keep and have to maintain. I also think that there's a culture built on absolute truth and everyone and the other. It's zero ego and it shares bias for action. You share everything, we try to develop everything together, and that's for me very, very important and needed. And honestly, I think Salvador about generally, I think you are not the same people. You have changed, you have developed new skills, and you are developing yourself here. And for us, this is very important, is the success of the CDTM. I don't know, because I saw it in Munich, so I think here I also have a nightlife, amusing and productive. And that's one thing that for me was very remarkable when I was in Munich. Seeing that living together, working together, having fun together is the way to develop a common sense, a concept of community. And I think you don't forget never you belong to a community. Even when you leave this place, maintain the sense of community for the CDTM. I think this evening is really interactive. I hope it will be fun. I hope being fun myself. I mean, yes, please do something more for me. And I don't want to tell anything. I think it's your time and it's your work and your opportunity to show us what you do.
Thank you for your words, Pedro. And finding the right place, finding the right people. I hope that's what you get to do here in CDTM. But of course, that's also something that a lot of people want to do in Valencia, right? When they arrive to Valencia. It is a great city to live, but sometimes this can look like an impossible mission. But the next thing is going to show you that it's actually not. So please, welcome to the States. Look for that.
Raise your hand if you have ever had to move from a flat because of a bad flatmate. Okay, I see. Already some of you. So, I will tell you a story you may be familiar with. You have just arrived in a new city for your Erasmus year. One of the best experiences of your life. That's what everyone told you. New friends, spontaneous adventures, even the most exciting late night studying. And you are ready for it. But instead, you spend weeks finding a flat. And you're lucky to finally find it. You move in with the strangers, and 2 weeks later, the dream is gone. Dirty dishes in the sink, noise through the walls, unexpected late night guests. One argument after another one, until you can't deal with it anymore. So you decide to move out. Deposit gone, starting over again. This was not supposed to happen. This was not supposed to Erasmus to feel like, but it does. For thousands of students every single year. And it all started with one bad decision. Not a bad flat, a bad match. So we are here to fix this match. Because the problem was never a flat itself, it was the person. So we'll help you find your people and find your place. Meet Friends and Flats, the app that rewrites how students find their homes. While already existing platforms offer you just a list of flats, Friends and Flats help you find a flat and the right person to share it with. Our app is built around people, not just properties, combining compatible flatmate matching and smart priority filtering and fully mobile experience, all in one place.
So now, let's take a look at the actual product we have built. The question is, why should a student want to use Friends and Flats to find their flat? We say finding the right flatmate is not only about finding someone that you live with and share similar interests, because your home is supposed to be a place where you feel safe, where you can calm down. If you don't have that, it is taking a toll on your life of quality of life. Therefore, we say, make smarter, live better. For the user, this is very simple. After downloading, you simply register, you create a profile, and you can already start liking or disliking flats and people. Once we have found a match, that means a group of people that all like each other and they all like the same flat. Once we have found that, we create automatically a group chat where you can start texting with each other. In there will also be an administrator from the real estate company in order to schedule an appointment for a visit, for example. Let's take a look how this looks like. So here we have the login. We're going to meet Sophia and Salvador today. The first thing that you see is the feed of flats. Here you can see the general information, just like on other applications like Valencia. This flat we decide we like. Oh, at the top we can of course scroll through the pictures, the most important part. We decide we like this flat and we can use the swiping mechanism to like or dislike. Otherwise, you just use the bottom buttons. We press like and we see the next flat, very easy. But here we see this flat is for 4 people. Now this is a bit too much for my liking, so we're going to use the filter option at the top right of the screen in order to reduce the maximum number of people to 2. We apply the filter and we find a flat that looks good. We check the data and we like it. Now let's go on to the next step, that are flatmates. You can go to the right side of your discovery feed, and here we see my outline. We get information about work and studies, hobbies and interests, and living together habits. Now we want to look for male flatmates, so we can again apply a filter, and the first man that we find, he looks sympathetic in my opinion. So we're going to like him. And congratulations, it's a match. You can keep swiping, or you can go to the chat directly. We're going to do this, and at the top of the screen, you can see an overview over the match. In this group, there will also be, as I've already said, an administrator of the real estate company, so you can directly schedule an appointment. Let's say hi. The next tab that we're going to look at is the likes tab. You can see it here at the bottom. You will see people and flats that you have already liked. In this case, we're going to look at the first flat, and you have the option to see people that are interested in this flat also. We already know one girl. The second girl, Anamnesis, no. So we again look at her profile, and also here we can give her a like. This greatly increases the chances of finding a suitable match because you already share a flat that you both like. The same principle also applies to people. You can look at people and you can see the flats that they are interested in. As we have already seen the matches, we will go to the last, the profile tab. Here you can adjust your profile. You can also adjust the discovery preferences, and you have basic setting options. It is obvious why you as a user might be interested in using this, but what does the real estate agency get? For them, it is not only a reduction of flatmate conflicts that they have to somehow solve, it also means for each flat you get a group that are already interested in the flat in one group chat from the first minute. This reduces one-on-one conversations and therefore reduces your workload.
Okay, we have seen how our application works, but how are we going to earn money with that? What is our business model? We have come in a software as a service model where we implement the application for free and later we offer it with a monthly license of 400 euros. In addition to that, we will offer an annual optimization service with a cost of 2,000 euros that covers possible bonifications over the basic matchmaking solution. We have calculated that we can reach between 5-10 companies in short term, obtaining benefits of 46,000 euros the first year. We have our customers will be organizations that need to put together before compatible people. Mainly organizations like our first customer, that is Live for Life. So we are going to focus in real estate agencies from the main cities of Spain, like Madrid, Barcelona, etc.
Okay, when we're talking about market analysis, our market is going to be basically international students. International students cover almost 40% of the whole base clients of E4Life. So we are going to focus on them. Whenever talking about competitors, we can see some already well-known companies as it can be Idealista or Salvador, but none of them have what we have, that it's both matchmaking and the possibility of finding flats and people at the same time. And the roadmap is our path in 1 year. What are we going to do? First of all, we're going to launch the app with Live for Life the first 2 months. After that, we will try to validate and improve every single thing of the app using our first client, that is going to be Live for Life. Then we will try to scale in the same market. So we will try to go to some companies, as for example Idealista or Spotahome, and sell them our matchmaking tool or our business. And after all, last but not least, we have scaling in another market, going to some companies that need to use our matchmaking to put people together. So we are Flats and Friends, and this is our team.
Any questions? Yeah, I was about to say that. You can ask any questions and we will have just in case.
Anybody wants to ask something?
It looks like it should be working because this one's
Friends and flat, very good idea. I was wondering if you were thinking about like maybe it could be a stupid question, but do you think about put reviews in the flatmates? Because it's something that sometimes people get troubles about get problems about that. I don't know if you think about that.
Yes, we've thought about that. However, we think that, as I've said, you should feel comfortable at home, right? And introducing ratings in flatmates might be problematic because they're gonna put your personal life kind of out there. You don't know what they're gonna write in their reviews. There's a feeling of observation maybe even. Therefore, we decided to not do it.
Okay, that's
Thanks for the question.
Any more questions? Okay. Hugo, if you could, yeah.
You haven't thought about national students?
Yes.
These are the students that are not Erasmus.
We also are trying to cover national students that are doing SICUE and also the ones that are moving from, let's say, Valencia to Madrid, because they are not doing SICUE, but they are also using our app because they don't know anyone there that can help.
If they are not in the market,
Yeah, actually, we can explain. Because we made previous research and regarding this research, our main client is international student because they convert 3 or 4 times better than national one. And the reason for that, because national student can back up for their families or their personal network to ask their friend, you know this, I'm searching for a flat. Do you know someone? So they don't need this actual app. But for the international student, as they don't know anyone in a new city, they do require this kind of app. So that's what our target flat.
Yeah, they are more open to pay also because for them it's cheaper.
It's a question or comment. Did you think about extending your model because you find compatible people to do something? It's flats in this case.
Yeah.
Did you think about expanding the model to groups of people trying to do people that do not know each other in advance?
Yes.
To do a trip in a group, or I don't know, perhaps you can imagine different customers the same needs that are doing something together.
Actually, that was the last step of the let's say the path that we are going to follow in 1 year is try to move from this market, the flat market, to something else like, I don't know, finding teams that want to look for a special player. That could be one thing, or in a business, possible compatible workers. So that's the point in the future.
Or some project, like a real work project to find compatible teammates for one of that project. This could be like actual place, like in our case, like flats, or it could be a project which is not tangible, but this kind of things also need to be compatible people together, so we could implement this like the final step of our roadmap.
We could use it in CDTM.
Yeah, for sure.
You can buy it if you want.
Let's start with the new business. They have another question over here. Salvador, if you could do the mic. Thank you.
This was great. I love your presentation, and I think it's a great idea. As you were speaking about chatting and seeing compatibility and the likeness of, like, for example, like other apps like Tinder and everything, to sync that mechanism, which I think is great. Not a concern, but maybe something that you might be already thinking about, and maybe it will come up in iterations of the app, is mechanisms for safety. So, for example, you're chatting with people, like, do you envision adding mechanisms so that people can feel safe in the chats and, like, there's no harassment, guidelines of that sort, because it can get muddy, right?
Our greatest worry was, of course, that it might invite predatory behavior in some way. So especially a verification step at the beginning, where you verify with your ID card, whatever. And for this, it's not very difficult to implement. You just need an API provider that is checking everything for you. Also, it's important you cannot do it on your own really, because you have international students, so you need to watch. Okay, we cannot just look for the DNE of a Hispanic person, right? But this would be an idea, and like that, well, it's tied to your identity, and whatever you do, you can be persecuted. No fake profiles in the worst case.
Okay, thank you very much. And also, I was amazed by your presentation, the way you raised your voice without any mic. That you actually didn't use the microphone, and you have to do it a little bit more close. And if I had done that, like my throat, I would need to go to the doctor right away. Talking about doctors. Usually when we go to the doctor, we want to be attended in the most professional way. We want to be attended with the minimum waiting queue, right? But is that possible from a technical point of view? The next team is going to show us how. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tudor, and together with my daughter, Alba, we're the team behind Anamnesis. This is not the first time IMED Hospitales has collaborated with CDTM. They already did it back in 2017, and they liked it so much, they bet on us again. And before I show you what have we built, what is our solution, let me tell you what doctors experience in a day-to-day basis. I am a volunteer. Okay, come here. Okay. This is more or less what doctors see when a patient comes. This patient has one allergy. Can you find it? I'll give you a little bit less than 1 minute. You can open different folders and see the documents and whatever you want. Feel free.
I'm sticky.
Yeah. And as you can see, there are many folders. Inside of those folders, even more folders and more documents. And how is he able to know what's going on? Probably and yeah, it's such a mess. Everything is fragmented, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it would be impossible to find it. How's everything going, Diego? Your patient is looking at you, looking through the computer. Nah, sorry. That's enough. Give up.
Well, Diego, don't worry, because doctors usually spend between 15 and 20 minutes to analyze the full patient clinical history before the consultation begins, because of this kind of obsolete folder systems. Or what is the same, 100 full working days lost looking into folders instead of treating patients or just diagnosing. That's why we created Anamnesis, an AI clinical dashboard. How are we solving this problem? We summarize all the patient clinical history into a clinical dashboard. So all the information can be read in less than 2 minutes, in just one screen. By consolidating fragmented records, we are giving back doctors time to their most valuable asset, their patients. We also empower them with trustworthy information, so because we provide traceability, so they know where the information comes from. And we also provide security, as the data doesn't leave the hospital, so we avoid any possible legal risks.
Okay, but how does our solution accomplish this? In order for doctors to trust what we're doing, even more if we are dealing with AI, we have created a 4-layer solution. The first is the data layer that gathers and creates the context for AI to build the summary. But before AI gets into working, we already extract key values that are very important, like lab results, so there's zero risk of hallucination. Then there's a structured extraction layer that consists in extracting contents that are structured, are not free text. Those are things like allergies, medication, or diagnosis. That is done by an AI model. But then another AI model, possibly a more capable one, is in charge of creating the summary and all the narrative from all the text that is gathered in the documents. And then everything is shown in our dashboard. But let me show you. How will doctors use this? Okay, this is the first thing a doctor will see. It's the same patient. So who can tell me what is the allergy that Diego was looking for? Everyone. And in less than 2 seconds, there's a big red block that tells you, hey, be careful, there's an allergy. But not only that, we also have a complete summary built from those documents that are really scarce. And the most important thing, this is not just a summary, it allows doctors to see everything in a single view, from lab results to active medication and other diagnoses, which you can filter depending on what are you interested in. But not only that, because not all doctors are the same. There are different specialties. So we also have that in mind, and we have made different categories for this. Right now, this only changes the right side. But if a patient has enough context, it has gone to IMED many times, the AI would make a personalized summary of that specialty. So the doctor is looking only at what they consider most important. There's also a timeline where you can see the different consultants that have happened. And most importantly, this is made for doctors to be able to trust it. So we include an option to trace all the claims. For example, why do we say immigrant is an allergy? If we look back, it is said in Informe de Urgencias of 1st of July. Why couldn't Diego find it? Because doctors write things very fast, and many times they don't write it in the place where it belongs. So they write it in free text format, and to look through everything, to search that, it's very hard. And that's where an AI excels. But let's go back to the presentation.
Anamnesis reduces diagnostic errors as all the relevant information is shown automatically. It also reduces clinical burnout, as administrative burden is one of its main causes. And it also helps hospitals to achieve more revenue, as with the time saved, extra patient per specialist per day can be treated.
Now we know how anamnesis works. But the real question here is, can anamnesis be a real business? Well, to answer this question, we need to understand the market in which we are operating. We are not operating in the typical software hospital market. We are operating in a much more specific market, the AI-powered clinical support decision market, which is valued at 18 billion euros globally. But we don't want to go global. We want to start focusing on Spanish private hospitals, which represent a serviceable market of around 5 million euros. We want to solve the needs of our customer. But who is our customer? As you can see here, our customers are mid-sized private hospitals. Why? Because they have the necessary resources to contract us, and they also have the necessary IT infrastructure. And if they have the necessary resources to use a digital tool, why would they trust on us? Well, basically, because we have analyzed the market and we have discovered a really interesting thing. The existing solutions to solve this problem just solve part of the problem. They either solve the data ownership or solve or offer a full view of the patient clinical history. And Anamnesis sits in the middle, as you can see. It offers also data security and also a full clinical history view of the patient. Now, regarding the business model, hospitals pay as a subscription starting from 70,000 euros per year. This price is not set regarding the cost. It's set regarding the value that we offer to hospitals. And now that we know the value that we offer to hospitals and the market in which we are operating, we want to show you our strategy to scale Anamnesis. In this year, we would like to validate our idea with IMED. Then we would go for our first client. And then we would like to improve our product. We want to see a doctor listening to an AI summary when going from a room to another room. And also we think that our technology can be transferable to other sectors. So in 2 years, we would like to apply Anamnesis maybe in an assurance company or in a consultant company. Behind Anamnesis, there's our team. We are IMED, they are Miner and Tudor, and we also have Pedro. Each one of us is in charge of a part of the business. As you can see here, and we are Anamnesis. And we are here to remember that behind every record, there's a patient waiting to be seen.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to answer some questions. You raise your hands, and I bring you the microphone. Okay, one question over here.
First of all, great presentation. Thank you so much. Just out of curiosity, so when you have the data and patient records already at hand in that messy way that you have to sift through, so how do you actually plan on bringing it from that into the next or into the first layer for Anamnesis?
Okay, so the first layer is the data layer, which does two things. First, it merges all that data, which is separate in different documents for each patient, for each year and consult. And then it merges those under one patient. So one patient has one JSON or one document that explains all its clinical report, but it's in a format that's not printed for humans. So what we do is transform that and make it go through our dashboard.
Okay, so even the first step is actually already AI enabled.
No,
It's
just merging JSONs or different documents and flattening the documents and doing every processing part for the data to show just one document for one patient. So that way we can feed that context into AIs. The first step does not involve any AI.
Got it.
So there's no hallucination.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
More questions? Okay. So you.
During the presentation, I was asked how you plan to mitigate the risk of the AI translating something wrong, because it's important data, and in case something is translated wrong, how do you predict that, or how do you know?
Yeah, we have some evaluation metrics. Since we didn't have enough data for this demo, we couldn't make a LoRa or a fine tuning, but we do have our system. We have some golden set of summaries which are evaluated by doctors, and we feed those summaries as examples for the data for the new AI that does a summary from scratch to evaluate and see how similar it is. But not only that, we also have some faithfulness check that measures first the extraction part, where we extract medicaments, allergies, and things like that, and we check that against the whole context. And then also we check after the summary is made. So we have two different checks to see how much information is lost or preserved after each step.
Those third questions.
Well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I think I have a relatively similar question, but in a different manner. I would like to ask you about how you will legally manage the usage of AI. For example, as a client, I wrote to IMED, do I sign a certain document? How is the process on the legal part?
Well, right now we are building this platform following the regulations. So we take into account the traceability, so doctors know where the exact information is extracted, and if there is some kind of information that is mistaken, you know where the actual document is, so you can review it. And regarding data consent, all the data is anonymized for this training, and patients don't need to sign data consent, as we are using we are just doing the summary with the actual information. So
I mean, we also work under GDPR and EU AI Act, which are the new regulations that are coming the following years, which we have researched during trend seminar. And yeah, right now for the demo, we had anonymized data, as Maya said, and once it scales to different hospitals, since everything is on-premise, there shouldn't be any problem with leaking data or things like that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anamnesis. Please, big applause to them. I think that was really smart use of AI. So far, I'd say I'm really familiar with Coll, so it's difficult to, it's like this is a full superior level of use of AI. I'm talking about Coll. The team that's going to present now, when they were 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, or 1 week and a half, maybe, ahead, so like 2 weeks ago, they found that the solution that they were building, suddenly it was lost to the market by Coll, by authority. So they had to rethink a little bit of everything. Good thing is that, of course, they got the right methodology for it in MTV. They had done their research very well, so they could just do a small pilot. And for me, actually, this shows that they had been building the right solution, because if Coll decided to launch that thing, there's real business there. So, innovators of tomorrow, best consultants, They all use methodologies. At CDTM, actually, we have our own educational innovation methodologies, you know, but methodology is nothing without execution. So the next thing is going to show you how to make more accessible and more agile these kind of methodologies. Please welcome to the stage, Pedro.
Where understand our project, I will lead you to imagine that you start a new project, a new methodology, but suddenly the screen opens up on your computer and it's a management program called Jira. Jira has 34 buttons to go through to update every stage of your email project. But not only that, you will have mandatory fields, backlogs, sprints, and a scary and serious task ticket management. So, what is the first feeling you have when you go through this? You are scared, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, and you now are the secretary of a wholesale machine instead of doing your actual job. So what a normal employee would do facing this wall, they will leave it, they will type, and they will leave it for Friday.
There's another side to the project. Like actual managers, they feel the consequences of this obstruction of communication. Whenever Monday comes, they have to look for the different solutions their employees supposedly have solved, and they have very well solved the problems, the different projects, the different workload, but it's not there, it's not updated, they can't find it, and they stress out, and they start sending messages, and they go to Teams, they go to Slack, they go to WhatsApp, and we're not doing consultancy work, they're only following threads, following red herrings, following ghosts. And that ends up being 30 hours per month per consultant. So we have partnered with Improven to try and solve this problem, and we have found through interviews, we have found through our user research that 30% of all problems of blockage, at least in our specific case, come down to simply not updating the workload, not updating generally anything, and not following, not adopting, not being there in the Jira. So we have created Katalyst.
Katalyst is a piece of membrane that sits right on top of Jira. We don't touch the technical part of it. We let the engineers keep working with their complex tool at the background. What will be changed is how an everyday human being interacts with Jira. But first, to understand our business model, you must understand who are the main two actors of our story. First, our customer, our client, the consultancy. They are the ones who need to be everything delivered on time to protect their markets. Second, our user, this overwhelmed employee of the end client who hates filling out corporate forms.
And now, look at the screen. This is what the user sees every day. If they have 40 pending tasks, Katalyst filters them and just shows the ones which are relevant and need to be done right now. It cuts through the noise. All the effort of writing and reporting is transformed into a 15-second action. We've got three main commands. These are mark complete, request cover, and declare cover. For example, declare cover sends automatically a notification to the project manager and deletes the responsibility. So the employees no longer feel monitored, they feel protected and safe. But also users need a big perspective and motivation to keep engaged. So here we have the project general roadmap. With a single tap, the user can see the entire delivery map in a clean way. So, for example, they can filter by states, by city, by deadline, and can visualize the entire workflow. And how can we make that they log in every morning voluntarily? So, through a high-performance enterprise gamification layer. They accumulate experience, they protect their streak, and they participate on a healthy weekly ranking based on the actions that they have done on the last week. So they keep engaged with the tool. And as days fly by in this time-accelerated simulator, this habit fits the team motivation and engagement. And don't worry about data privacy, because Katalyst is enterprise secure, and we process data dynamically, so we don't store any confidential data in our servers.
So, to build a high-tier product, we do not rely on assumption. We've been working hand in hand with consultants and Improven to understand and validate their pain point based on their real experience. Currently, the daily rate update of the client doesn't even hit the 40%. What we want to do with Katalyst MVP as our first objective in pilot projects is to double this number, the daily rate update. This gives us an asymmetric competitive advantage in today's market. While traditional marketplace plugins share seat-based fees for external users, destroying the firm's project budget, Katalyst introduced a flat fee of 150 euros per month and per active project slot, with zero restriction for external users. The financial impact is instant. If a consultant stops wasting their time chasing their client updates over the phone and reallocate his time in a high-value strategic delivery, the consultant cuts some costs and unlocks new ways of revenues. A yearly Katalyst subscription costs 1,800 euros per active project slot, but it returns more than 18,000 euros in consultancy capacity alone. This means a return on investment of more than 900% only in the first year, while maintaining a rock-solid 91% gross margin for our business. But what is the size of this opportunity? So we are facing a total addressable market of 2.7 billion euros. Our SAM in Spain represents 43.2 million euros. And our SAM, our immediate target market, focused on consultants, mid-sized consultants within Valencia, Madrid, and Barcelona, represent 1.35 million euros in annual recurring revenue.
So as you have seen, we know our market, but how are we going to tackle our growth? How are we going to manage this? So we know that the traditional slow door-to-door won't be the option. So we have analyzed that B2B2B is our target. By assigning with a consultancy firm, we have access to dozens of customers at zero cost acquisition of those customers. Then we only won't fix on that. We have an exponential growth when we look to the gear structure management. So we only don't have only operational basis on consultancies, but in every sector, every industry that works in management with different kinds of teams, business, engineers, scientists, we gather.
But wait, it gets even better. We can go beyond here. We can attack the market, including all kinds of business information, business intelligence formats, and allow ourselves to give utility to all corporations that use any kind of these softwares. And we're Katalyst. We simply try to decode behavior engagement so that we allow for a zero friction workflow environment, and we can reach any sector to create system integration. We code psychology so that you can run efficiently. This is Hugo and Nestor. This is Noelia. She's Susana. And we want to make every second count. This is Katalyst. We thank you for your attention and we're open to questions.
Well, I love your idea. It was great. I have no notes on that, but now I'm curious. What did Claude steal from you that you need to do it?
So basically, we have to try to remember, but it was basically an AI layer to try and make easier the comprehension of, in particular, Jira, but we pivoted to engagement, which actually created the most part of the problems. So that's a good part. But originally wanted to attack this market because it was so immediate. It was so immediate that we did it first. So basically,
it was called that the problem that we detected was tunnel vision.
Exactly.
It was more in the consultant side than in the end client side. But cloud is faster.
Yeah.
That's what the market's like. Yeah. More questions over here? Okay, we have 2 questions. And
yes, you have?
We actually have kind of a shared question here. We usually turn to each other and have a question regarding, you said in the beginning of your presentation about a possible ranking inside the team. And as someone who has worked in multiple teams, I feel like that in some of them could be a point of conflict. So my question is that feature, can you turn it off? Why you decided to implement specifically this feature?
Yeah, we talked about like a motivation to keep improving that. It's not just about a threat, but all the company. For example, a company of 50 people, they only will be in that ranking. It's a weekly ranking that we start every week, and it's just for keeping in mind who has worked or has advanced through that week. It's not like the last of them are wrong or something. Just they have find some blockers that wouldn't keep progressing. But it's just to motivate people to get more.
Basically, it awards focus, communication, and updates. It's not that much about the workload, because the workload actually, people work. The actual consultants, they work. The problem is that they don't update it and they don't see around them.
We encourage you to see our complete MVP because, as you have seen, there are many pages, and one of our key points is that we have metrics that are task done, but not only tasks done, but initiated as a proactive from the employee, but also there was a page which was called Unblocks, which is how do you help inside your team. So we are connecting different metrics that we have created on our own to manage how does a really employee give us power to that process, to the entire team, not just only doing tasks.
Thank you.
Good call to action. Yeah, now we come together. We have the last question over here.
First of all, I'd like to appreciate what you've done. Saving time is really important. And the question is, how are you planning to take advantage of the fact that Claude already launched your solution to the market, and how do you want to market it?
I mean, we're taking advantage. We pivoted. Basically, we veered off of the original solution. So they both attack the problem space of lack of automation of even Jira, for instance, or maybe Monday in other cases, Notion. But we're actually trying to gamify and engage the employees or gamify the process so that engagement rises and communication is more fluid. We're not actually moving information, we're creating it.
All right. Clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And now the last words are for the trial partner, Improven. Whether you have questions or just some words that you would like to share with us, you can stand up. If you don't want to go to the stage, but you can also go to the stage.
to you guys. I think we are really lucky. This has been an awesome journey, and we're proud of it. We're proud of you. We love you. Thank you very much, guys. We love you.
Actually, before you go well, I think it would be good that all of the teams go up and we make a photo with the, yeah, I think it's cool, yeah, with the photo, there you go, thank you. And we make the last photo. Management team and extended management team, advisory board, extended management, extended they are. Talking about so, thank you very much to you all, to the participants, to the teams, the professors for staying until the end as well. For the management team as well, because as you know, even if there's one or two people from the management team in charge of each specific course, in the end of this is sustained by many people. And thanks to everyone who came today to watch the amazing pieces. And now we are for an amazing catering with some drinks, with some food, and with the demo shows, with the prototype show. So thank you very much. I give the closure to the event.